A few years ago, the economist Thomas Piketty became a world celebrity with his book Capital in the 21st Century, a book which actually became the best-selling economics book of the 21st century so far. His new book, Capital and Ideology, is now available in English in the bookshops.
1月31日，正式决定脱欧的英国，不论是主流财经媒体还是学术界精英，依然慎重其事地向这位法国籍的明星学者请益。
I think to better understand how over time, over a long period of time, you see major transformation of the structure of inequality in various countries. And the main driving force, I think, is not so much violent destruction through war or economic deterministic forces or technological or cultural forces, but rather the changing ideology and the changing political mobilization.
In his latest work, the 1,200-page-long Capital and Ideology, he proposes a solution. In a word, expropriation.
早在去年9月，这本书的法文版才刚刚出炉。英国邮报立刻以深具影响力的 Thomas Piketty 回来了，他比以往任何时候都更危险为题，说明了这部新作的杀伤力。他推动的论述是把财富从少数有钱人手中转移到穷人手中的重新分配，这也让美国的财经记者直冒冷汗。
Keep cool, keep quiet.
I'm very cool. I'm very cool.
I'm not gonna expropriate you.
这本书描述的是20世纪经济繁荣，是来自于巨幅缩减贫富不均的历史经验。
So if you look at the past century, what we've seen is an enormous reduction of inequalities that was achieved through education, huge public investment in education, that was achieved through progressive taxation, and indeed I revisit the historical experience whereby in the US, starting in the 1920s and 1930s with Roosevelt until 1980.
Thatcher, Reagan, yeah.
So from 1930 to 1980, the top income tax rate in the US was on average 82%. And believe it or not, but this did not destroy American capitalism.
新书的核心主题，简单来说，就是分配不均所造成的不平等。他认为，所有人类社会都必须要找到分配不均的原因，否则整个政治和社会结构都有可能崩溃。
And there is the other solution, which is to control capital a little bit more. To control the circulation of investment and to ask in return for the circulation of capital and investment.
否则，我们只能眼睁睁地看着下一场因为贫富差距越来越严重而注定爆发的危机。
The problem is how you give access to more people to education, to property. So in my book, I talk about how you can create a right to inheritance to all. Right now, the bottom 50% of the population inherits €0, $0, very little. I show that by using, progressive tax on inheritance and wealth, you could finance, inheritance for all of €120,000 at the age of 25.
Government doesn't hold.
No.
This is redistribution to the population.
To the population.
大量资金流向了更少的公司。小规模 IPO 的数量正在下降，在一个已经不平等的世界中，这赋予了继承者或大财主拥有更多、更集中的财富。OECD 经济合作及发展组织的资料显示，在全球1半的上市公司中，3大股东持有1半以上的资本。
Until 1914, no country would dare having a top income tax rate or a top inheritance tax rate above 10 or 20%. And then suddenly in the interwar period, having 60, 70, 80% on very large income or very large wealth becomes almost the norms.
美国在2次大战之间是累进式所得税及财产税的示范领袖。一直到雷根的80年代。
Reagan sort of made the claims that we will get more growth, more innovation by relying on a more, free market and
the government is the problem here.
But 30 years later, in fact, U.S. workers have not really seen the growth, and if anything, the growth rate in the U.S. has been divided by 2 following the Reagan decade. Between 1990 and 2020, so over this 30-year period, you only have 1.1% growth in per capita national income in the U.S., which is twice as less as between 1950 and 1990.
所以标榜自由主义，宣称把最高所得税的税率减半，会刺激更多的技术创新和经济成长的愿景，并没有发生。
In the book, it comes out as pretty draconian. You have tax rates going up to 90% in a proposal.
I use in the proposal I make, I use the proceeds of the annual wealth tax and of the tax on inheritance entirely to finance a system of inheritance for all, where everybody at age 25 will receive 120,000 euros. Now, in the system I propose, so people who now receive zero would receive 120,000. This is about
It's a one-off payment at age 25.
Age 25.
Like a one-off universal basic income.
Like inheritance.
目前几乎有1半左右的人口是分文遗产也没有的。原本现在可以获得100万欧元遗产的人，在税后还是可以拿到62万欧元。
It's also a way to change the power structure in society and to give more bargaining power to people so that they can better choose which job and which wage to accept, and this is a way to allow more people to participate in the economy in a way where you can make plans, I think this is really what we need.
他认为，未来的共享经济需要更多大的族群、更广泛的参与，而大部分资产握在少数人手中的意识形态，已经彻底失去了说服力。
That we're going to have in the future as climate change shows its devastating effects more and more. We'll need internationalist solution, and this sort of race to nationalist retreat and identity politics that Trump or Boris Johnson or Modi in India or Bolsonaro in Brazil are promoting. That's not going to solve the big challenge that we have to solve. So, I'm trying in this book to promote a more internationalist solution to the problem, but at the same time, you have to change, the way globalization is organized.
当政治领袖放弃了对经济公义的追求，当各个政府只能对资本低税主义低头的时候，一个国家唯一还能争论及操弄的，就只剩下国家主义和身份认同。所有的战争与革命都是酝酿于贫穷。这是被认为是经济学托尔斯泰的皮凯提不肯放弃的战争与和平。